The situation in Bangladesh has reached a critical juncture with escalating human rights violations and increasing violence against minorities. Amid political turmoil, a recent event at the UN Human Rights Council highlighted the urgent need for international intervention and accountability. Human rights activists and advocates call for independent investigations into past and present abuses, emphasizing the historical context of discrimination and violence that has plagued the country for decades. A report.
The current situation in Bangladesh is characterized by a complex interplay of political, economic and social challenges, particularly regarding the treatment of minorities and marginalized groups. Recently, a significant side event titled Human Rights Violations and the Rise of Islamic Extremism in Bangladesh was held during the 58th session of the UN Human Rights Council. This event underscored the alarming state of human rights in Bangladesh under the 7th month rule of Nobel Peace Laureate Dr. Yunus. International journalist and human rights activist drew troubling parallels between the current conditions in Bangladesh and the oppressive environments seen in Iran and Afghanistan following regime changes. They emphasized that millions of lives, especially those of minorities, are at grave risk due to a complete breakdown of law and order and the widespread impunity for human rights abuses. The discussions highlighted concerns about increasing violence against minority communities, suppression of dissent, and the erosion of civil liberties, painting a dire picture of the human rights landscape in the country.
In over a decade that I've been investigating human rights abuses and politics and upheaval in over 40 countries around the world, what I'm seeing in Bangladesh is absolutely terrifying, and having visited the country is even more scary because what's happening in the country isn't being reflected within the international media. It feels like the world is looking away, but this is exactly the time that we should be paying attention, because from where I'm standing, Bangladesh isn't far behind following Afghanistan, Iraq, Iran, and many other countries that have gone through big revolutions. Minorities in Bangladesh are under attack, and this is a crucial time for the world to be paying attention.
At the event, the urgent need for international attention and intervention was clear, as advocates called for measures to protect vulnerable populations and restore accountability in governance.
Well, we have all heard enough what's going on in Bangladesh. We have also heard the denials and dismissals from the current government. We have also heard about the UN report. So, taking it all together, I have only 3 calls today. First call, I would want an independent investigation, impartial investigation into whatever happened in Bangladesh, both past and present. And I would include atrocities, alleged atrocities of the previous government, including the one those have been alleged during the time of the present government. That's my first demand. And the second demand, I would want a full internal inquiry, full internal review of the OHCHR reports, like how it operated, how its findings were reached.
At the event, the historical context of human rights violations in Bangladesh was also prominently addressed, underscoring the long-standing patterns of abuse and discrimination faced by various communities. Speakers highlighted that the roots of the current crisis can be traced back to significant events in the country's history, including the brutalities of the Liberation War in 1971.
Today is the 54th anniversary of Bangladesh's Independence Day. Tonight, 54 years ago, West Pakistani Army, along with their collaborators Al-Badr, Al-Sham, launched the worst possible genocide in the history of the subcontinent and this century, targeting innocent men, women and children indiscriminately and with special vengeance towards the minorities, be it Hindus, Christians, Amitis, member of race, transgender, LGBT community. So we have to make sure that Bangladesh cannot fail. We cannot afford to have another genocide which can happen at any point of time in Bangladesh, because after 5th of August, the country is on the boil and it is becoming increasingly difficult and dangerous for all liberal-minded people who believe in the mindset of liberation, who believe in 1971 War of Liberation.
As the world watches, the stakes remain high. The lives and dignity of millions in Bangladesh hang in the balance. It is a crucial moment for Bangladesh, demanding immediate attention and decisive action from the global community to safeguard its future and uphold the principles of human rights for all.